Hi friends, welcome to Webcam. Here in this video, I am going to discuss various types of SQL commands for a data analyst role, meaning how much SQL a data analyst should know, right? So I will discuss everything in this video related to the SQL commands and types of commands. So basically, SQL commands are divided into these 5 categories, but out of these 5 categories, only first 3 categories are mostly used by a data analyst. Okay, now let's come to the point. Okay, what is mean by DDL command? So I can write here definition, data definition language. Okay, DDL stands for data definition language. And why it is called data definition language, or what are the different commands are there in this category? Okay, so basically data definition language is nothing but the commands which are used, the SQL commands which are used to define the database schemas. Okay, so schemas, if you do not understand, then we can in another word we can say database structure. Okay, so like what are the commands we use? What are the commands we use to define database structure? Obviously, whenever you have to create a database, you are supposed to use create command, right? So this is one of the SQL command under the data definition language. Okay, it falls under. Then suppose if you want to modify the database objects nothing but anything, table, view, store, procedure, function, these are the databases objects. Okay, so if you want to modify anything, we will use alter command, right? So this is how DDL commands are categorized. Those commands which are used to modify the database schema, to modify the database structure. Okay, but these commands, DDL commands, cannot be used with data manipulation. Okay, or you cannot perform operation on the data. You can do the changes with respect to database only, database and its object. Okay, then suppose if you want to delete, you are supposed to use the drop. Okay, so you can consider that drop is basically used for the database objects. Okay, to create table, to create to delete the table. Okay, created table, if you have a created table, you can delete that by using drop command. Okay, then something like truncate is there, which is also falls under this category, DDL command. So truncate, what truncate will do? So truncate will do, it will remove all the data from that table. Okay, so this is how defined. Okay, or there is one more command called rename, which is also falls under data definition language, because you are able to change the data. Then now next is, what is the DML? So DML stands for data manipulation language. Okay, so these commands, DML commands, are actually used to work with data, to perform the operation, to delete the data, to insert the data, to add the data. So these are the commands falls under DML category. Okay, so what are the different commands we have in SQL for data manipulation language? So suppose insert is command, because we actually use those commands on data of SQL or database table. Then update, so these commands, then delete. So these are the commands falls under DML. Okay, apart from this, there are few more commands called call. Okay, then explain, plan, then what we have, lock. So these are the DML commands. Okay, and how we can define the SQL commands which are used to manipulate the data, from database. Okay, database. database is called data manipulation language. So these are the DML commands. So this is how it defined. So DQL is stands for data query language. Data query language. Okay, let me give some space between these two so you can view properly. You can have a view of these statements properly. Right. So data query language. So querying of data meaning fetching of data. And if suppose if you want to fetch the data, get the data from database table, there is only one command which is used as a select. So select falls under data query language. Data query language. And here in this video, I'm going to discuss, okay, so how we can use these commands, DDL and DML commands. DDL and DML commands. Okay. After that, DCL command is there, data control language is there, control language. So these commands are not necessary for data analyst person. And also TCL, transaction control language. Transaction control language. So these two commands are not necessary. So I'm not going to talk much on this. But yes, definitely we are supposed to talk on this. Okay. So let's start with our point of interest, how we can use create command, how we can use alter command, how we can use drop, truncate, and rename. Okay, fine. So let me pick any of my database. So I have a table called student. Okay, table called, database called student. Inside of that, student info table. So I will pick that table. I will say select. First, I need to select the database whenever I start my workbench. So I will say student info. So this is what my bad. Student is my only database name. I was putting there a table name. Table name supposed to be used in select statement. So this is what DQL command we are using to fetch the data, because I would like to see what are the different columns are there, or what are the different values are there inside a student info. So that's why it is categorized as a DQL, data query language. Okay, so first language we used DQL, first query command we used as a DQL. Okay. Now I have this data. Suppose I would like to add one more column, or I would like to create something. I would like to create new table. Yes, we can do that also. So let's see how we can create table. Suppose whenever you have to create a table, okay, you are supposed to use a data definition language called DDL, right? And here we have seen create, alter, drop, truncate command. So these commands I am going to use. I will show you how these commands works. So first I will say create. And suppose if you want to create a new database, you are supposed to use create database command. Okay. And you can give the name of database. Okay. And if you execute this, the database with this name will be created. But I'm not going to create database as of now. Then I can create, okay, create table inside a database. Okay, once you create the database, you are supposed to use that database using these statements. So you have to write use database name. So that database will be used for the further object creation. I will say create table. I will say test, and inside the test table, I will create two columns, A of integer type, B of integer type. Okay, so this is how I can define column name immediately followed by data type of that column. What type of data will be stored into that column? This is how we can create a table. And suppose if I execute, if I go here, you can see that test table is created here. You can see that. Okay, suppose I don't want this table, so I can use a drop command to delete the table. So I will say drop table test. Drop table test. right? So this is how we can drop the table. So now I don't have any table called test. So table is dropped. So we have seen two DDL commands, create and drop. Okay, now how to use alter command. Suppose if you want to use the alter command, you would like to modify the data. So basically why alter command is used, okay, or what is the use of alter command? Okay, I will say alter table command. So the alter table command is used for why it is used or why it can be used. Okay, to rename the database. Sorry, not a database. I can say table. Okay, alter table is used for the rename table, then drop column, drop, add, or rename. All these three comes under this category. Then change data type of column values. Okay, so we can change the data type as we have passed here integer. If I wanted to change this integer to date, I can use this command. So my main point of interest for this video is alter table. Okay, once you have a table, you have everything, you have a data, and if you want to change this data, okay, I would like to rename this last name column to another. Okay, I can do that. Definitely I can do that. Okay, I will copy this here and let's push this up. Now I will write table alter table. What table I wanted to alter. Okay, so this is how I can write. Now on next line you can write, or on the same line you are supposed to write. Okay, what do you need to do? So you are supposed to rename the column. So I will say rename column, but which column you are interested to rename? I will say last name. This is what column name, and what name you wanted to update. Okay, so I will change this to L name. Okay, so this is how you can write a rename command. Rename column, old column name to new column name. This is what a syntax you have to use. And you, if you say execute, and now if I try to fetch the data, here you will say that the L last name was changed to L name. This is how we can change. Now I don't want this L name column. Okay, now I don't want this L name column. I will say alter table, and student info. Okay, this is what my table. What I need to do, I would like to delete a column. Okay, I don't want this column. So I can delete the column and I will say column name, drop column. And if I execute this, okay, let me see. Am I missing something? No, it's perfect. And now if I try to fetch the data, you will see that there is no column called L name. So this is how alter table command helps. Alter command helps to modify the table schema. Okay, and this is what falls under alter table. Alter command is falls under DDL, data definition language. That's what I already discussed. Okay. Then we have seen these operations. Now suppose if I would like to add new column, yes, I can add new column also. Okay, and while adding new column, we can same syntax, just to write here add column, and you are supposed to pass, like we create a table, we need to pass a data type. Similarly, you are supposed to pass a data type, okay, after the column name, and I will say yes. So now if you see, it has added one column, but by default it is accepting the value as a null, since the records already exist in my table. But you can later on you can use update command and update these names. Update these names. Now, how to change the data type? Okay, now how to change the data type? Okay, if I go and if I show you the DDL commands, okay, if I go to the schema and if I show you, so to view the schema, what you need to do, you need to over the mouse on your table name, and in front of that table in my workbench, okay, so you are supposed to click on the eye icon and you will see this kind of, okay, DDL command, right? DDL command. Now where I for last name we have added. Yes. So if you want to change the data type, okay, so here you can see that my date of birth is falls under varchar 100, and I don't want this data type. Okay, I can change the data type. I can change the data type, but how to change data type? So I will show you how we can change the data type in SQL of any column. So you are supposed to use the same alter table, then student, okay. Oh, entire query was copied. So I will keep this as it is. But now what I need to do? So I would like to modify the column. Okay, I will say modify column. Okay. And then which column you are supposed to modify. So you have to put the name of that column. So name of that column. So I entered here name of that column, DOB, and what data type you are supposed to change. So you can write like this and you can execute this. Okay, the moment I execute, now if I refresh this and if I go to the schema, you will see earlier we were able to see that my DOB was of type varchar 100. Now it is of type date. Okay, so here what was there earlier? Earlier it was varchar. Now what is this? So it is of date type. So this is how we can change the data type of any column using alter command. So this was about the alter table to rename the column, drop the column, add the column, modify the column. Okay. Now my point of interest is to remove the how we can use the truncate command. So you are supposed to write truncate, and then you are supposed to write table and table name. So what it will do, it will remove all the records. Okay, I already shown you, if you try to fetch the records from this table, it has record, right? These many records are already available there. But if I use the truncate, and if I try to execute, and now after that, once the truncate table command is executed, if I try to fetch the records, you will see that table is blank. Nothing will be remaining in my table. So this is how it works. Okay, DDL command works in SQL. Now I would like to discuss DML commands such as insert. Okay, how we can insert the data, then what you can do, how we can update the data, and how we can delete the data. Okay, so what is the difference between delete and drop? This is not equal to drop. Okay, drop is used for the table schemas. Okay, it should be used with table objects to modify the table object. But if you want to modify the records, you are supposed to use the delete. Okay, for data, I will say for data, and here I will say for database and table or views or functions or store procedure, you are supposed to use drop. Okay, so this is not equal. Both are not equal. The purpose of same, meaning same, it will delete the object. Okay, but the type of object will be different. So drop is not coming under DML. Okay, let's see how we can perform these operations now. So as I shown you, I don't have any record inside my table, select all from student info. And now I would like to insert the record. Okay. So how to insert the record? So for that purpose, you are going to use the DML command insert into. Insert into, then you are supposed to pass the table name. And I will say table name. And you have to write like this values. So this is what a syntax. And by writing values, you are supposed to pass the values for all the columns. So what are the different columns I have? Let's say I have 100. My name is Brahma. Okay. Means first name is Brahma. Then you are supposed to pass the date. But what is the date format? Okay. So for MySQL, YYY YYY, okay, YYY hyphen MMDD. So this is what the date format database accepts. So I will write like this 2000, okay, not 2000, 1993 hyphen 02 hyphen, okay, 03 hyphen 02 MMDD. So this is what a date of birth I can pass. Then address, it should be in varchar. So I will write everything inside a quoted. Then contact, if you want to insert a contact, and then last name, if you want to add last name, I will add my last name. This is how we can create a record and let's say execute. And now if I try to fetch the record, you will see the data is added into table, right? That's why I said DML commands are used to manipulate the data. The commands which are used for the data manipulation is called or is nothing but a data manipulation language. So now next is, I don't want, let's say if my surname is not correct, okay, not correct, or my contact number is not correct, then I can update that. But how to use? So I will show you update. What to update? So I would like to update the table student info, and what then in set, okay, in set you have to say, this is what the syntax. First you need to define update table name, set column name, what column value you are supposed to update. So I will say 9665555536. This is what my contact number I would like to update. Okay. And then where, okay, where clause you are supposed to use. I discussed this all things already, okay, in my previous videos. So where you are supposed to give the reference, okay, so that it should get updated at proper record. And if I execute this, you can see, okay, you are using safe mode. So these kinds of errors, SQL more my SQL workbench hits. So whenever it asks for safe mode, you are supposed to write SQL save underscore updates is equal to 0. So this is what you can pass, you can execute. The moment you execute this, it will allow you to update the database record out of range for contact. Okay. So as I said, integer, I will remove one number. And now if I try to execute, yes. So now it got updated. Now you can fetch the record and you can see that contact number has been changed to updated value. Now I don't want this record. Okay. In case, so I can delete that. So I can use the delete command like this. Delete from table name. Okay, delete from table name. And in where clause, what to delete, you have to define. So I will say delete from table name where roll number is equal to 100. Roll number is equal to 100. And now if I refresh this, okay, you can see that. You can see that it got executed and I don't have a record exist in my table. And this was about a DML command. Last is DQL command, but we were using DQL command from starting. The select statement is nothing but a DQL command, data query language select statement. Okay. So this is what my DQL command to fetch the record to get the data from table. So since this table don't have any data, it is not showing anything. So for the data analysis candidate, this much skill sets are sufficient. Okay, not go by this video, but go through my entire series on the web chat channel. So you will get full knowledge of SQL. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day. And do not forget to subscribe web channel.